Hi, welcome to another Wasted Wednesday. Here we are.
I'm
Again.
Chip. Again. For another
Fourth episode. I'm Stevie.
We just took a shot.
And let's get started.
So,
should
I start or?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk.
So far that's how we've stuck to, that you start and then.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a flow now, you guys.
Wow.
Look at that. And now our friends kind of know about this.
Ooh.
So,
trying to work
shout
on
out.
promoting it a little bit. I'm still a little nervous about that.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
Somehow it seems better if it's just strangers than,
Yeah.
than your actual people that know you.
And I think we're one of the few people who are conscious of the consequences that the internet can have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There aren't a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think. They just kind of
put
things.
stuff out there,
yeah.
but we overthink things a lot, so.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, the fucking racists on TikTok, they're not
they're
thinking,
just out here just posting whatever. I made a tweet,
crazy.
I was like, damn, racists out here, just really being bored.
Yeah.
And, just posting whatever the fuck they want.
Exposing
Literally
themselves.
exposing themselves.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's whoo, it's...
Yeah, TikTok is the Wild West.
It is.
You can just post whatever.
I see some whack shit on there, and I'm was Vine, I'm trying to remember, was Vine like this?
Vine wasn't like that because I think people knew the, or not necessarily knew, but, you had such a small, time constraint that, 7 seconds, you can't do
exactly.
You can only
show your ass in 7 seconds.
You can only do so much in 7 seconds, so it's
yeah.
You're okay, content, gotta make it funny, gotta make it fast. It's always the go, or the split second things.
Yeah.
Versus TikTok, you got a whole minute to do whatever
That's
you
true.
want. And you can do a lot in a minute.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And I see things, and I think I see more than you do because I have TikToks a lot on my Explore. I don't actually go on the app unless people send me stuff.
Yeah.
I just see them on my Explore, so I see the really popular ones. Or on Twitter when people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what is this?
And it's, yeah.
See, and I've curated my For You page down to a very, niche genre of, what I like. And which obviously does not include, racist.
Yeah.
So, I don't see it unless people, usually post it on Twitter.
Yeah.
But, my For You page is so curated to, literally For You. So, I'm just on there vibing for hours, and then someone will post, something on Twitter and be like, oh my god, can you believe this?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh damn, that's happening.
That pink girl. I found out about her.
Yeah.
The pink girl.
Yep. And then it's always funny because you'll come to me and be like, did you see this TikTok
Yeah, because I
going
expect
on?
that she would.
Yeah.
Because she's on it more than me.
Yeah. But, I don't because I don't go outside my For You page.
So I end up seeing all the bad TikToks.
Somehow, yeah. And it's just the Wild West out here.
It's crazy.
Got a little bit of everything.
Oh my god. And the straight couples. Actually, I was thinking about that today. So this is a quick detour, but why are straight girls so impressed by their boyfriends doing the bare minimum?
Oh my god. No, literally.
I saw today
Uh-huh.
someone I know post something her boyfriend did. I'm trying to be super vague because I don't want to call him out. But it was just so minimal.
Yeah.
It's okay, reference, I guess. When I was in high school, I had a boyfriend. Duh, I did. I'm sorry.
As you do.
And he bought me Chick-fil-A one day.
Yeah.
Super basic, nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I think I was the one to flex that I've had a boyfriend.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my god, look what he did.
But
but it's stuff like that. That's so bare minimum.
It's bare minimum, but it's bare minimum, yes, but then also, it's small stuff like that also means a lot. I would say if your boyfriend, literally, treats you like shit and, just, I don't know, doesn't do the bare minimum, and then, gets you Chick-fil-A, then you're like, okay, why are you, applying that? But if it's, if he's, a decent guy and, holds the door open, actually does the bare minimum.
Holds the door open?
I don't know, this is what I think. And actually does, the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And then, he goes and gets you Chick-fil-A because they say, Chick-fil-A is your favorite. And then at that point, I'd be like, okay, that's nice.
But I just feel like I don't care. I guess that's what it is. It's just to me, that's the bare minimum, and you're congratulating him for that, and you're posting everybody, for everybody.
Oh no, I definitely agree with that.
And it's just kind of okay, when will couples, especially straight couples, realize nobody gives a fuck? We don't
I don't give
care.
a fuck about straight couples. I'm sorry.
Yes, especially. But it's like, if you're in a relationship, nobody gives a fuck that you are.
But you know what? What's kind of getting to that point, and we can say this because we're gay ourselves, is lesbian couples, man. Oh my god, especially on TikTok. Oh my god, it's out of control.
I see those thirst traps, and I'm like, there was one chick who I thought she was hot as fuck. Yeah. And then she trended on Twitter for her, like, ugly-ass thirst trap. She's my type, for sure. Yeah. She's the curly-haired one.
Yeah, I know
you know what I'm talking about. And she's my type, and I thought she was hot as hell. Mm-hmm. And then she posted that, and I was like, you know, it's like, why are you acting like the gross dudes? Like, the fuck? Yeah. I don't get it.
It's that very niche genre of, like, lesbian, or like that specific type of lesbians. It's kind of like, I guess, like,
the tops have too much power.
Yes, that's what it is.
Tops have too much power.
It's like the lesbian skater douche tops. Like,
yes, the snapback lesbian.
Where, like, if it was a guy, it would definitely be a fuckboy.
Yeah.
Yes, which I mean, there's still like fuck girls.
There's plenty of them.
I know. That's definitely it.
Yes. I'm familiar.
But that whole type, I'm like, maybe y'all should be bullied. Like.
No, really, it's cringy and gross and annoying to see.
I'm having it. It makes me uncomfortable too. Like,
it's
those
weird.
POVs where it's like POV, those make me so uncomfortable. Yeah. And then also, I just think, I'm like, you're filming this alone in your room.
Yeah, I know.
And like, what if someone walked in? Like, what if your mom walked in?
Yeah.
Because you know they're definitely in high school.
Oh,
like,
sure.
They're definitely in high school.
Or, well, that one chick, she's like, but then it's the people who aren't in high school.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's kind of worse too, because you know that people that are still in high school are watching that.
Yeah,
and then I'm like,
and it's kind of like you're appealing to it because it's only really high schoolers that are like consuming that and being like, that want that specific that type of like the POV. Yeah, and that
it just makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's weird. But my final points, I guess, for straight couples, it's just
don't deserve rights. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I just think, like, people are single out here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know I'm not, but I have a single mentality, I feel like, you know?
Yeah.
I get annoyed by couples. I think it's gross. I see couples in public, I'm like, disgusting. And, like,
we just spit on you.
No, literally, I'm like, ew,
yeah.
why are you doing that? You know, like, I don't know. I think it's just gross. Like, I don't know. And I hate other couples.
Do couples deserve rights?
No.
In this episode, we'll just no, I'm kidding. That's not what we're talking about.
But it's just I guess the point I'm just trying to get at is just like, I'm tired of seeing your posts. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that too. And we've kind of talked about this before, like specifically on Instagram, like when your Instagram gets turned into like a fan page of your partner.
Oh my god, especially.
Like, at some point, I'm like, you gotta think about your followers. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, if you're, like, my friend and, like, all you're posting about is your partner, who, even if I'm friends with them, I don't really care.
Yeah, like, I didn't sign up for fucking, I don't know, Caesar's, fucking fan page. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know, Caesar. I was just trying to think of somebody. But it's like, I didn't sign up for that. Yeah. I didn't follow some fan page for your boyfriend. Like,
I was like, I don't know. For me, I feel like there should come a point where, like, it's fine, like, post, like, you know, cute pictures of whatever. But when like, if you're posting, like, back-to-back-to-back posts of, like, oh my god, I love this person so much. Yeah. Like, you know, they mean the world to me. I'm like, okay, but that doesn't do anything for me. Like, I don't care. Like, send that shit to them. And
sometimes it comes off, like, when they're showing their boyfriends doing the bare minimum, or they're
then I'm like, is everything okay?
Yeah, like that's the least they could do. Yeah, like, it really was, they didn't do some crazy grand gesture. Yeah. And then it's also kind of like, it's like that, it's the fan pages, it's also like, who are you without your partner? Like, like, you know.
One of my favorite movies, and I don't care if it's, I don't know if it's classified as, like, a rom-com or whatever, but I genuinely love this movie. It's called How to Be Single. Have you seen it? It's with
Rebel Wilson.
Rebel Wilson.
I was not in a sober headspace when I watched it.
Fair enough. I've watched that movie several times, and I watched it with my group of friends, and I don't know. I love that movie, and I actually do really like the message that it conveys.
Yeah.
Where it's truly like you can't be in like a happy relationship if you're not happy by yourself.
Yeah, and so when we see these fan pages, I mean, we've had these conversations not with you, but with ourselves. But when we see these couples and we see these fan pages and the posting the bare minimum, they're always posting about each other. It's like, well, okay, half your content is gone by the time you guys like break up, you know?
Yeah. And you're gonna go through and delete all that?
Yeah.
Shit, people will know. People will know.
Right, and I feel like people will be like, well, what if they don't break up? But as divorced kids, look,
they'll probably break up.
I even if they don't, and I will eat my words if they do.
Even if they don't, it just comes back to the notion of, can't you be your own person in a relationship? Like, can't you exist on your own without having to make everything about you and your partner? And like, can't it just be you?
Yeah, and to me, that's a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Like, again, my first boyfriend, I felt like that went over well when we broke up. Because, I mean, like, it wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it, but I had my own life. I had my own friends. I had my own interests and stuff, you know? Like, I had things about my life that was separate from him. So when we broke up, I didn't feel like, oh, fuck, where are my friends? Oh, fuck, who am I? What the fuck is going on? You know, I was just like, shit, there's this thing happening in my heart, and now I need to get over it.
And then also, when you're so, like, codependent on a person and you do break up, it just seems like all types of messy, and then it's, like, kind of having to detangle yourself, and, like, you can't really make, like, a clean cut if everything that you do is about them.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, and I said it once, I'll say it again. Your boyfriend is not as cute as you think they are.
No, not to other people.
Like, you're like...
I'm sure you may adore them, and...
Right.
Unless it's fucking... Who's, like, a really hot person?
Everybody wants to say Timothée Chalamet. I don't know if I agree.
Timothée Chalamet is hot, but if I'm trying to think of a universal...
In a skeleton way.
Timothée Chalamet is hot, but if I'm trying to think of a universal hot person that, like, everyone would be attracted to...
Zac Efron.
I was thinking Zac Efron.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Oh, we were really thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I was. But I was trying to think of someone other than Zac Efron, because
I
knew everyone was going to say it. Zac Efron, dude.
Yeah.
My first celebrity crush. And to this day,
he's hot.
He's hot.
And
he's
knowing that he might be bi
my God.
Everything.
So incredibly hot. Ugh. So yeah, your boyfriend is not Zac Efron. No. Maybe to you he is. And but it's like one of those things like when your mom says that like you know, you're pretty like you're like, I'm sure you actually are an attractive person, but like when your mom says something, you're like, okay. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah. and the other thing is too, it's like last thing. I feel like I really beat down. I feel like I'm gonna get some hate for saying about the like bare minimum and all that. The last thing I want to say about it is it also feels like those couples want to flex on you.
Yeah.
They're like, look at my relationship, look how much my partner loves me, look how much like they do this shit for me, blah 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 blah. And it's like, so like I guess I also just don't understand somebody who's very private to where some people in my DMs seem to forget that I'm dating somebody. That, like, I just feel like that should just be between y'all. Like, why can that not be, like, oh, like, that made you feel really good, and maybe share it. But also, do you not have friends where you tell things about your partner, and they're like, you know? I tell my friends sometimes, and they're like, okay. And it's like, okay, well, I want to tell somebody, and there's nothing's wrong with that, but I also understand, like, not everybody really wants to hear it, nobody really fucking cares.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know, maybe in your, I mean, every relationship is different, so, like, that's whatever. So, like, within the relationship itself, you know, sure, you can all be all about whatever, but, like, you have to think from an outside perspective. Like, if I had a friend that was doing this, like, would I, like, is that something that I would want to see, or, like, what, is that something I care about? And, like, obviously, like, the answer is no. Like, obviously, like, you know, I care about, like, you know, my friends and their relationship, but more in terms of, is it healthy? Are they happy? Like, and stuff like that. I don't care about your day-to-day stuff. No. Like, that's between you and your partner.
Exactly. I think that's it. I know we'll probably touch on this subject again, and welcome to our first tangent.
Yeah.
We always gotta start with the tangent before we get to the shit. Anyway, so what we have planned on talking about...
Nice little intro, you know. Ease our way into it.
So I don't know if you guys have seen the memes, but you've been on Twitter.
Is this only a Georgia thing, or is it
I don't know
nationwide?
if it is.
Okay.
I have no idea. But in Georgia, at least, because of COVID, they were suspending, like, getting in the car and doing like the actual driving test, and
because obviously, you know, close quarters.
Yeah,
and everything.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Staying safe, which makes sense. Of course, yeah. But DMV is an essential business. People need that sort of things. Essential workers need their licenses and stuff. And in Georgia, because they had suspended that, for those of you who don't know me,
I think we've said this before.
Oh, have we?
I think we have.
We might have.
At least in the roommate tag video.
Yeah. Okay, which will come out on Friday.
Yeah.
I didn't have a license.
She doesn't have a license. It doesn't drive.
Doesn't drive. And I got 4 people, which was 4 enough, to tell me about how the suspension, how you could basically just get your license.
The DMV was suspending the driving test.
Yeah.
I think that's what you said. Mm-hmm. And so you just had to show up.
Show up.
That's it.
And assume...
That's it, just show up.
Assumably take the knowledge test. Assumably. That's what I thought.
You have to... In order to obviously get your driver's license, you do need to have a permit.
Yes.
So at some point you do have to take a driver's test.
Yeah.
A written test.
Yes. And that's what I thought. Mm-hmm. So me and my dad had a little road trip, and we drove out an hour and a half to the only DMV a week's short notice that would let me sign up for an appointment. And I walk on in, and I'm thinking about, like, okay, I need to take this knowledge test. I've studied for it. I know what these signs mean, blah, 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 you know, like...
And that's all it is. If you've taken your driver's test, it's just signs.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all it is. And hydroplaning, for some reason, they make it such a big deal to know what to do if you hydroplane.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
It's like the equivalent to, like, quicksand.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when you're little, you think quicksand is going to be such a big thing. It's like when you get your driver's license, you think hydroplaning is going to be such a big thing.
The biggest thing. I've heard a lot about it, you know.
Heard a lot about her. Good things only.
I actually have we don't have to get there. I have a friend who's gotten in a wreck because of hydroplaning.
Oh, no.
It's fine. All's good.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Well, that's good. He's alive.
Yeah. He didn't have a car for a while. It doesn't matter. Y'all don't even care. Y'all don't need.
Y'all don't know who this person is.
You don't even know.
Unless you're Will and you're watching. Hi.
Hello, Will. Love you, boo boo. Anyways, so I'm sitting there, hour and a half drive, butt fucking nowhere, just past some state prison, and you know, setting the scene for you guys. Mm-hmm. I got my mask on, the itchy one, you know, the real deal.
God, I fucking hate it.
Yeah, right. And I was sitting there, and I'm like showing them all my information. I already did this like skip a step, so I let them know that I lost my permit forever ago. And then she goes, "Okay, great, cool, got all your information in. All right, stand up for the picture." And I'm thinking, the picture.
Mind you, the picture is like the last thing that you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, am I not taking this knowledge test?
Yeah.
And then I sit back down. Right? And then she goes, okay, it's going to be $32. And I was like, okay. And I like pay. And then she prints it out. And she goes, all right, the real deal will be there in like a month. Like less than a month.
Shit.
And I was like, and I'm smiling because I'm wearing a mask now.
Yeah.
So she can't see. I'm fucking smiling because I'm like, did I really just get my license? And I didn't have to take a knowledge test. And she goes, have a good day. And then I'm like, and so I walk out the door. My dad's in the car, like, trying to read my face, read my eyes.
Stay neutral.
Right? And so I go, I shoot him a little thumbs up because I can't smile because I'm wearing a mask. And I get in the car and I go, Dad, I really just finessed that shit. Like, I didn't have to take it. I was handed a driver's license. And I still don't know how to drive, but I'm not going to get on the road. Yeah. I have anxiety.
That's insane. Where it's like, obviously, like, you know, I trust you that, like, you're gonna wait until you're actually, like, comfortable to drive and, like, and all that shit. And, like, you know, keep practicing, whatever. But, like, that you could just walk in
and get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's, I don't know. That's insane. Crazy. That blows my mind. Because I know there are people out there that, like, you know, will get your driver's license, and they'll just be out on the roads.
And like, we already have bad drivers.
Atlanta's already crazy enough. Like,
we were just talking about it the other day. So if you guys have ever been in Atlanta or any city that has like, it's like 4 or 5 lanes on 85.
Yeah.
It is such an Atlanta thing.
Just
like you can, exactly. Somebody will be be in the farthest left lane, and they're about to miss their exit, and they just crossed 4 lanes of traffic to make it.
I was driving the other day. She was in the car.
Passenger seat, sharp number for you guys, SGL.
And so we were driving, and I was about to miss my exit, and she saw I was so close to just pulling that exact thing, but there was a cop like right behind me. I was like, let me know. So then obviously, also if you live in Atlanta or any other city, know that it takes fucking forever just to, okay, now let me just go to the next exit, do a U-turn, get back on the interstate.
Like
oh god, it's a fucking pain. Mm-hmm. But if you're comfortable, you
do it, and that is such an Atlanta thing, and it's even more Atlanta if your ass is in the median.
Oh my god! Which we also saw.
We saw that on this day.
We saw one on the median, and then one there wasn't even a median. It was just grass, and the
man was in a truck.
In a truck, he just said, "Mind my own business," and I said, "On your way, sir."
Like, all right, well,
right. You know what? I'm not gonna judge because I probably would do the same thing.
But that is just so, because everyone who's ever been to Atlanta, 85 is a nightmare.
And people think, I feel like it's a misconception that people think that Atlantans, ATLians,
if you will,
that like people who aren't from the city, like that they will do that because they're like, oh, they don't know the city, like they don't know what exits to take, like blah blah blah. No, it's because if you're not from the city, you're too scared to cross the 4 or 5 lanes of traffic. If you're from Atlanta, you know that, listen, you can't have any fear on those roads. If you show any fear, if you show a blinker, if you just gotta be confident, you just gotta go for it.
You gotta go. You just gotta cross it.
I feel like I have become somehow like a better and worse driver since actually moving into Atlanta.
Oh, that was like a snot. Anyway, sorry.
But it's like, I feel like I've become a better driver in the sense of like being able to maneuver quickly in between like traffic.
Yes. Defensive driving.
But then also a worse driver in that I will maneuver in and out through traffic just to...
Oh my gosh. And, have we mentioned it? We play roller derby.
I don't think we mentioned it, but we do play roller derby.
We play roller derby.
I think we tried to skirt around it. I don't think we can hide that.
Well, whatever. We play roller derby, and anybody who's ever played roller derby, I think you become like that too
for sure.
When it comes to driving. There's something about you're in like that mindset, and you're like, I'm gonna weave through.
You gotta be looking. You gotta say, you got 5 seconds, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. So anybody who's ever played roller derby probably have felt the same driving.
Yeah.
Like
suddenly you're in your mind, and you're like, okay, I just gotta get through this pack.
Right.
I gotta get through the pack.
I gotta get through it. And the pack is the majority of skaters on the track. For anybody
roller derby
who doesn't
player,
know, or you've watched Whip It, so you barely know anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what I wanted to say was, it's been a long time coming for me to get my license, and the fact that I still
much anticipated.
Yes, I had to call a lot of people and let them know.
It was truly amazing.
It was
not a day that I thought I would see anytime soon, if I'm being honest.
But what I wanted to talk about is just like, I think it should be normalized that you don't have to get your license at 16. I understand that it's very much of a rite of passage, but it's weird how it's so much a part of American society to get your license at 16, and for those who don't, and you've gone through that, you know how shitty the feeling is to not. People really shit on you, and it's kind of fucking crazy. Like, I've had grown adults just say stuff to my face, and like, I mean, not to get all sob story and like, woe is me and this is why, but I mean, I didn't get mine. Like, when I was ready to get my permit, I wanted to, I was super excited. I did everything that I needed to, but it didn't work out. I ran out on 30 days, like that your like school permission is valid.
Yeah.
And I didn't like, and I don't want to blame my parents. I don't think that's really fair to. I mean, like, I kind of want to, but at the time, looking back, I realized why it didn't happen at that moment, is because my parents were gonna tell us that they were getting a divorce, and a month later they did.
Divorced kids, you know the timeline.
You know the timeline.
Looking back, you're like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened.
Right? So I didn't get my permit for a while. And then I did, and then I turned 16, and I mean, even around that time period, like, everything was new. We had moved, my parents were divorced, and me getting my license, me learning how to drive was not a... Oop. Oh no. that just wasn't a priority, you know, and I get it. I get it now, I think. In the moment, it was very frustrating. I felt like it was, like, what is it, pulling teeth or whatever, you know, like, even wanting to get my first phone and a fucking iPhone, I had to present my parents a PowerPoint presentation, and it still took them, like, forever to give me one, and, like, fine, whatever, they moved to their own pace, but I kind of hated having people tell me, well, why don't you pester your parents more? Why don't you do that? Like, it was something that was very much out of my control. And then not only that, but I also developed a lot of anxiety around it, and driving. And I think it was moving to the city and seeing how bad people were at driving.
It's terrifying.
It's very terrifying, super intimidating. The roads in Atlanta are just insane and whack, and
because people will cut you off and then act like it's your fault.
Yeah, but even the way the roads are made, like
there's like stops. Four-way stops. I swear the streets are so tiny.
Yes,
like why are the lanes so incredibly small? I don't understand.
There's always a light out. So I learned. I mean, just being a passenger, I learned what you're supposed to do when the light's out, and
which is no one knows what to do.
Exactly. Which if you should know that what you're supposed to do is treat it as a four-way stop. But anyways, and then it didn't help that my friends who did have licenses and would borrow their parents' car, they had cars. I've been in a couple of fender benders. I've been with people who were new drivers and they've hit people.
It's really scary.
It is scary. And I mean, none of that stuff was that bad. It could have been worse. The worst I've ever experienced was like whiplash, but that didn't help my anxiety. Being in the car with high school reckless drivers didn't help. Just seeing how crazy people are at driving. I mean, and then also, you can't explain anxiety. You can't. At the end of the day, sometimes anxiety doesn't always have an explanation for it.
Well, psychology major here.
Yeah.
Anxiety.
Step on it.
Anxiety actually is, so it's your body's natural, kind of defense system.
Yeah.
But typically what you wouldn't consider anxiety is when you have that feeling of the fear, but there's a reason why.
Yeah.
That's not anxiety. Anxiety is when you have the fear, but you don't have a reason why. So it's your brain. So it's literally, you can't explain why you have that fear, because that's the whole point of anxiety.
Yeah.
Is you don't have a point to focus that fear or to focus that attention on.
Yeah.
It just is. Or you don't have a physical thing.
Exactly. And so, at the end of the day, I could come up with all these explanations, but I still can't tell you why driving intimidates me so much. There's reasons, but then there's also not. I mean, I can remember a time my aunt was trying to convince me to drive because I was old enough to and still had a permit and blah, blah, blah. And I just remember freaking out in the car. And there's so many times I have been behind the wheel just trying to work up the courage to and just breaking down and crying, or oh my god, whoever's sitting passenger seat trying to help me out gives me one instance of criticism, or I do one bad thing, because I'm freaking out as I'm driving. So and when you freak out, you hit the gas and you hit the brakes, and it's just a whole shit show.
You tense up and you're just...
Yeah, and then they're freaking out, and that doesn't help. And also the fact that my parents tried to get me to drive stick shift first did not help a lot. So, I mean, there's just so much to it, and then so much that's unexplained as to why I still struggle with trying to learn how to drive. And I'm trying not to tear up. This is actually kind of emotional for me, I guess. Oh my god, ew, this is like therapy. Anyways, just I don't know, I hate that it's such a rite of passage. I think it also intimidates me, fucking up or causing an accident or having people yell at me. I know people have gotten trailed, it is crazy. And I just want to say, it's okay if you don't get your license at 16. I didn't need to because thankfully I was in Decatur, so I could walk everywhere. And Decatur's a suburb of Atlanta. So I could walk everywhere or take MARTA, which is our transportation system, or I had friends who had licenses. Or I fucking Uber. Lyft and Uber was my little bitch. I mean, not now because of everything, but
because of all this.
Because of all this, as the Southerners say, all this. But yeah, like, I mean, and then I would have, like, adults shit on me about it, you know? Like, being like, oh, why don't you have it? It's like, okay, well, it's me, but it is also my parents, and, like, why aren't you looking at them? Like, or it would be adults who, you know, I know they struggle with anxiety and depression, but it was, like, weird that they were giving me a hard time with this when it's like, don't you recognize I'm going through the same thing, you know? And it's just so weird. And I mean, for me, it's really, it's really just the anxiety from it. But I mean, there's plenty of people who don't get their licenses because, I mean, they're just in other positions than I am, you know? Like, they don't have parents who can help them drive.
Yeah,
they don't have a
time
car,
aside
you know?
for, you know, being able to practice driving.
Yeah, or, like, their family doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Maybe you can't afford to even fucking pay for a permit or a license. Like, that costs money. Your time costs money, you know? Like...
Also, like, you keep saying, like, oh, like, you know, this anxiety without, like, you know, really, like, knowing what... I mean, you're literally driving... I mean, I don't know how much cars weigh, but a shit ton is what they weigh. Driving around this shit ton of metal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, maybe just to people who've been driving a while, like, maybe, like, 30, 40, you know, miles per hour, it doesn't seem like a lot, but that's pretty fast. Like, you know, if you were to get in, like, any type of, like, accident, that's enough to cause damage. So, like, it's completely understandable to have, you know, these anxieties and these fears about driving, because, like, it's a big responsibility.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then also, like, I don't know why, but, like, my mind keeps connecting it back to, like, 16 is still so young. Like, it's so young. And I keep thinking back to how, like, it's expected to, like, you know, like, when you turn 16, like, or at least around that age, you know, that's when you, like, you know, start having sex or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, having sex and then being able to have your driver's license, those are two, like, really big, major milestones in your life that happen at a really, really young age.
Yes, now that I'm, like, where I'm at in life and I'm the age that I'm at, and I look back at who I was at 16 and what was happening and what was going on, I mean, like, it felt right at the time. It felt like the national average, because I remember Googling that. I was like, what's the average for somebody to have sex? And blah, blah, blah. And it was, like, 17 for girls. And I was like, accurate.
You're like, I got a year.
No, it was accurate. It's accurate for me. But I think back to all that stuff, and I was like, I feel like I was too young even then to have been doing any
even
of that.
now, looking, like, physically looking at how, like, 16-year-olds look, and not to be, like, you know, not to be ageist or anything or whatever, but, like, it is, like, once you grow up, even, like, just, like, 5-6 years, like, you realize, like, how young and, like, how kind of naive you are. And then also, because around 16, like, you know, I was going through some, my parents were already divorced, but, like, you know, my dad was moving a couple states away, and, like, just being, and obviously you're a teenager, so you're really emotional, you're experiencing everything for the first time.
It's
and,
so
like,
intense.
Everything just seems so intense. And I remember being in my car and, like, breaking down and crying while I'm driving.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a really scary experience to have, because, like, you have to be coherent enough to, like, be able to drive a car, but then also having these really intense emotions that, like, that come from being a teenager, from being, like, from going through adolescence, that, like, sure, you can blame some on, like, on just emotions and being valid, but then also, and it is valid, but also just being young and experiencing stuff for the first time, it just, there's a lot going on. There's so many factors that you don't think about when you're driving, like being emotional. Yeah. Whether it's being sad, happy, angry, like, that affects your driving so much. And, like, only now that, like, once I'm, like, you know, getting older, like, I realized how to keep your emotions in check. And even, I remember when I first got my license, I probably didn't listen to music while driving for, like, the first 6 months.
Yeah, I know. I remember being in cars and it's, like, blasting.
Yeah.
I was in
like,
cars
I can do that now.
High, like...
Oh, I think I've driven high, like, maybe once. I've never driven drunk. Or, like, never, like...
Yeah.
That's just stuff that's a lie.
Now that I am in college and an adult, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, I was like, yeah.
Well, and like, at the time, crazy. You think it's, like, having that privilege of, like, being able to drive and then being able to go from place to place, so you think, like, oh, yeah, like, I'm drunk, I'm, you know, high. I understand high is being a little different because you're, you know, some people, you can, you know, become, I don't know, coherent enough to whatever. But for the most part, driving under any type of substance or, like, and under any influence, it does have an effect on your driving.
It does.
And, like, I don't think we've ever talked about this, but as someone who has had, like, a family member that's been affected by drunk driving.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's how my uncle like passed away. I wasn't alive. It was when my mom was like younger.
Yeah.
But like it's just something that's like very real, you know?
It
like
is.
it's something that you don't really think about
Yeah.
in the moment, and then afterwards you're like, holy shit, that's just there's just a lot of factors to consider.
There are. So
which makes sense why like people have, you know, driving anxiety. Like that's a completely normal thing to have. And it's just not talked about a lot.
Exactly. And I just at to kind of conclude all this, I just want to say that like it's completely valid to have anxiety about driving, to become of age, to hit that milestone and not get your license. Like, it is okay. Whatever your reason is, you don't owe anyone an explanation. I feel like I had to constantly explain this to people, but they didn't need to know that, and they didn't have the right to that. You know, like, it's hard to constantly remind yourself that it's okay, you know?
Especially when everyone else is saying that, like, why don't you just get it?
Yeah, and it's like, there's so many reasons why it's not. Like, they make it seem so much more simpler than it really is. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I really feel for everybody who didn't get a license. I think the one thing that made me feel really great about it is my mom has a friend who lives in a kind of smaller town in South Carolina. She's like, nah, that's fine. I didn't give it until I was 24. And I was like, great.
I know it's really common for, like, people obviously living in the city, but, like, more specifically living in, like, New York.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the average there for people to get their license is, like, 25, like 26, like, much, much older.
Yeah.
Just because of, like, also another reason, you know, economic.
Yeah.
For, like, the environment. Environmental reasons.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we have public transportation and, like, we have alternative ways of transportation that is a little more, like, eco-friendly and, like, that kind of stuff. Where, like, it makes sense in living in, like, cities and stuff like that. Also, you don't always have a place, like, if you're actually in the city. Like, we're fortunate enough where we live to have, you know, to have parking spots and stuff. But, like, if you're actually living in the city, you know, you either have to pay to park, you know, you might not even have anywhere to park. Like, you might not have a parking garage near you.
Exactly.
So it just makes more sense just to either walk places, Uber, we have MARTA, or, like, some type of subway system. It just makes sense to have alternative ways of transportation.
Exactly. And I feel like when I tell people I don't have a license, like, they feel lower of me. They feel like I'm kind of, like, bummy, you know? And it's like, I'm not... I try very hard not to ask people for rides, you know. Luckily, my parents don't live too far away, so if I really need a ride, I ask them. My sister's younger than me, I ask her, but that just proves that the youngest, I fucking paved the way for her. I walk so she can run. But so I ask her. I try not to ask too many of my friends unless it's convenient for them. I offer to pay gas, or like, they just do it from the kindness of their heart. Like, I'm fortunate that I have very awesome friends, family, and stuff. Like, I can make it all work. I happen to keep dating people who have cars or access to cars.
That's one of the requirements. Must have a car.
Must have a car. I need to go places. Or I just try to think, like, I mean, sometimes it's not convenient for me to go somewhere because it's too far out of the way for me to get to. It's too expensive because of, like, Lyft and Uber, which have gone up in price, you know, and I'm not going to...
ridiculous.
Exactly. I'm not going to pay for their fucking subscriptions. I'm not going around
That's
like that.
bullshit. I'm like, who's using Uber and Lyft enough to use a subscription?
To pay like $15.99 a month, I think.
And not even for, like, is it for free rides? I thought it was just for, like, a discounted ride.
Yeah, Lyft it's like 15% and Uber
so
like 10%. It's
not
like
even a free ride.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's so dumb. I remember when it was like $3 or $4.
Oh,
and now it's like
good old days.
$6 and more.
I remember when I used to live back at home, which my hometown is maybe like 30 minutes away from Atlanta. I remember when I used to live at home and I would take Ubers. If I was, like, in high school, like, going to a concert or, like, going out in Atlanta or whatever, I remember taking Uber there and back for the whole night would only cost $30.
Oh, my God.
Like, there and back.
It's probably close to, like, $50.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, but I was before all of that, so, I mean, I fucking make my shit work. Even now, I, like, walk to work. I try to think of, like, what's convenient for my life, you know? Like, and I try not to, like, put my shit on other people. You have to when you don't drive, you know, and you have to think about these things. But all in all, I just want to let you guys know, if you don't have a license, or if you're coming up to the age of 16 and you're feeling nervous about it, like, you're completely valid. It's stupid that this is some almost, like, requirement when you turn 16, like, and it's stupid how much shit people give you, your friends, your family, like, your parents' friends. Yeah. Like, it's fucking dumb. But just try and, like, stay above that shit. Try not to let it get to you, even though I know it does. It did for me big time.
But you got your license now.
I have it now. I am trying to learn how to drive. Yesterday was my first time in a while doing it, and I hit a curb pretty hard. My sister yelled at me. She said, "Do you know how expensive tires are?" And I said, "Yes, I do. I'm sorry." But yeah, like, it will happen when you're ready and when you're comfortable, and that's all that fucking matters.
Also, even as someone who's, I like to think, an experienced driver.
She is, very much. She's a very good driver.
Like, there still comes days where, like...
Queen of U-turns, especially when you're not supposed to do one.
You just gotta pop a little U-turn right there. But, like, there comes a time, like, even as you're driving, like, you know, you've been driving for a while, there'll come a time when you're just like, shit, I don't know what to do. Like, yeah. Or, like, suddenly, like, you know, it feels like you're driving for the first time again. I don't know. Like, you just get into these weird headspaces. Yeah. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, you know, I do get some driving anxiety sometimes. Like, it's not something that ever really goes away, because at the end of the day, you are, I don't know, just when you think of the concept of what driving is and what being in a car is, it's a lot of responsibility, and it's really intense, and people tend to make light of it, which makes you think to, like, make light of it, but then it's not, it's not something that should be, you know, taken lightly, you know? Yeah. It's a really intense thing that's just kind of, like, brushed aside. But, like, you know, when you're driving, like, 60, 70 miles down, like, the interstate, and, like, suddenly you're either trying to, like, change lanes, or, like, some dick is trying to cut you off or whatever, like, you just feel, like, suddenly you're like, holy shit, if something were to happen right now, like, I'm going 60, 70 miles an hour, like, I'm probably gonna get wrecked, like... So it's a lot of, like, really intense things that, like, you have to, like, put in perspective that it's totally normal to have these, like, these fears and these anxieties, and not enough people talk about. Yes, which I think they should. Yeah. So anyways, I think we've really... I'm sure we could totally return to this. I'm curious to hear... Which we'll probably talk about again as, you know, as you continue to drive and, like, learn more. And I would love to hear other people's thoughts and experiences, especially those of you on YouTube. Like, I would just like to hear that. I think it's comforting to hear more people talk about it. So those of us who are kind of, like, not a part of the norm feel like it's normal. Yeah. But I want to talk about what you wanted to talk about. Yes, this is kind of turning into, like, a little therapy episode. I know. Now I'm really thinking about it. So I wanted to talk about, and this morning, you know, before the day that we film episodes, we normally try and have, like, an idea about what we want to talk about. And so before this morning, I wasn't really sure. I was like, oh, you know, I'll just get on, like, Twitter or whatever, and I'll see something trending. But this morning, I woke up, and it just kind of, like, I was in, like, a weird kind of funky headspace, and I texted our group chat of, like, a couple friends, and I guess if you're watching this later on, not during quarantine, this takes place during quarantine to set the scene. I guess I just kind of want to talk about how there's a lot of expectations to have to do things all the time during quarantine, and then also still not wanting to do things, to feel like you have almost too much time, to where it's like, I don't know, you know, why do something today when you can just do it tomorrow? And so this morning I woke up, and this normally happens to me at night, you know, I'll be falling asleep, and I'll be having ideas in my head. I'm like, okay, falling asleep, I'm always like, tomorrow's gonna be a good day, it's gonna be a good day, I'm gonna, you know, have a good day, whatever. And so that was the same, you know, headset in my mind of last night, and then this morning I woke up and I had set alarms because I had an idea in my head of what I wanted today to be, and I set a couple alarms starting from, like, 8 to, like, 8:30 to, like, 8:45ish. Actually, I think it was 8, like, 8:15, 8:30, 8:45, because I knew I wasn't going to get up on the first one, and also I wasn't expecting to get up at 8 o'clock. Yeah. But I wanted to have some type of productive day. And in my mind, I was like, okay, well, productive day equals waking up earlier. And so I set those alarms, and then the first one went off, and as expected, I turned that off. And then the second one went off, and I turned that off. Third one went off. I turned that off. And then I think around 8:45, that went off too. And I was like, okay, well, I should probably get up at this point. But I didn't want to. And it wasn't really a matter of still being tired. Like, I was pretty much fully awake at this point. But I just kind of... It just kind of hit me with, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, one of those type moments. And so I didn't get out of bed. I didn't really get out of bed or do anything until around, like, 11 o'clock. So I laid in bed for probably, like, 2 hours-ish. And the whole time, I just couldn't stop, like, thinking in my head, what am I going to do? I have to do something today. But I couldn't think of anything to do, Yeah. I had a couple lists. I really did want to clean my room, which I actually did do today. But one of the key things is, like, well, why should I do something today when I can either just do it tomorrow because then if I do this today, then what am I going to do tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like one of those things. And so I laid in bed for a long time just thinking about that, and I was, scrolling through Twitter and TikTok and Instagram, but I wasn't really, like, paying attention to any of that just because it was more of, like, a mindless behavior of, like, what to do. And, like, I don't know, and I'm sure it's a type of, some form of depression, which I'm familiar with depression, and anxiety and all that stuff, so I know it's some type of that, but it wasn't necessarily that I was feeling, like, so sad or depressed that I physically couldn't get out of bed. It was almost like I was so bored I couldn't get out of bed. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, and I'm sure there are people out there who kind of, know what I'm feeling. But I guess I just wanted to talk about how during this quarantine it's hard to find stuff to do without feeling like you're just wasting your time. Especially when you're just stuck in your apartment. And I guess it might be easier for people who are living either, like, in a bigger apartment or at home with more people, so then you have more options of, like, people to talk to. Not that I get tired of talking to you, but, like, you're at work this morning. So,
I work a lot.
We both...
through this.
Our schedules are kind of opposite, so, like, you'll work, like, the first half of the week, and I work the second half of the week. So we actually don't see each other too often. Mm-hmm. Which now it kind of... And then that ties into it, too, feeling like I have nothing else to do besides when I'm working.
Yeah.
Which makes me feel like my whole value as a person is tied into being a worker and tied in, and that's kind of all I feel like now. Like, I just exist to go to work. Yeah. Which is a really shitty feeling. Yeah. And then even, like, I have books that I want to read, but...
Well, to be fair, you are having a hard time getting through
I've given up. I've given up on that. I tried to start it. Yeah, I can't.
Well, I think that's probably part of it. It's like you were having such a hard time getting through this one book.
Yeah. That probably does have to do with it, and it's taken away. I've worked really hard to get back to the point of enjoying to read, because in middle school and, like, early high school, I read so much. But then, like, school takes the fun away from reading. You have assigned readings, you have textbooks that you have to do.
Or you don't even have time to
do it. Or you don't even have time to do it, and it just takes the fun away from it. So I've been working really hard this year to, even before quarantine, to get back into a place of enjoying reading. So that probably does have something to do with it.
And I would consider you an avid reader, so to kind of, like...
And I read books fast. Yes. I'm a fast reader.
Yeah. So to, like, come home and not see you reading is kind of weird, I guess.
And so I have stuff like that where it's like I have books that I want to read, and I think this also has to do with my ADHD and being so bored that I can't keep attention on even, like, maintaining, like, a TV show or a YouTube video. Like, I can't maintain attention on that without, like, 10 other stimulus going on, like, around me. And so I know that has a lot to do with it, but it's one of those things where, well, if I read this book now, then, again, what am I going to do tomorrow? It's kind of like that wanting to put something off just so you have something to do later, which, as a self-proclaimed procrastinator, I have done that, oh my god, so many times. So, and again, there's just a lot of factors that go into it. So I guess I just wanted to, same thing as you, I guess, just voice how I'm feeling and, like, the experiences that I'm having, and let other people know out there that if you're experiencing the same thing of either the pressure to always having to have to do stuff, or the pressure of not doing anything, and just feeling this weird mix of, like, conflicting emotions, that there's other people out there that, like, kind of feel that. And then today, so during this morning was quite the turmoil. No, it was really fine. Once I was able to like force myself to get up, I found a couple things to do. I did clean my room, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts actually, which I'm trying to get like back into because I used to be an avid podcast listener because when I didn't have time to read, I would just listen to podcasts or audiobooks on the go, which was part of my morning routine. You know, when I would walk to the MARTA station, I would have my be listening to like either a podcast or audiobook. Yeah. Just because sometimes you need something a little more stimulating than music. Mm-hmm. So that was part of my routine. I would just listen to that on the way to class and in between classes too. And so now we don't have that. Yeah. And so I started listening to a couple, and I actually started listening to one of my favorite. She did a TED Talk. I think officially she's either like a therapist or psychologist. Brene Brown. Have you heard of her?
I haven't.
Girl, I'm gonna send you some TED Talks she's done. Cool. I fucking love Brene Brown. She's a girl. About 2 years ago, when I was like really going through it, I watched her TED Talk on what was that called? She's done a couple, but I think I watched her TED Talk on, like, loneliness, and, like, I was, like, really lonely during this time. And, like, first of all, she just has, like, a really soothing voice that I just, like... that. But then she just explains things really well. So and then I found out that she had a podcast today, and I was like, oh, say less. So I started listening to that, and then also, like I said, because I have ADHD, I was not able to stay focused on that for very long. So then I switched to another one, which also I meant to tell you about. It's called Ology. And it's just this chick, and she just... Each episode, she talks about different, like, types of, like, ologies. So, like, the first one was, like, the first episode was, like, volcanology. So, she talked to this girl that, like, studied volcanoes. Huh. And it was, like, really fucking cool.
That's, like, her thing?
Yeah. And so, like, each episode, like, she interviews, like, someone different. They talk about their experiences. Fun fact, based off the first episode, that chick, she's like, yeah, the entire Northwest, y'all are fucked.
Oh, my God.
But it's really interesting. Yeah. And then the second episode, I think it's called, like, primateology. Like, she interviewed someone who, like, talked about, like, primates, like, monkeys and apes and stuff. So I started listening to that, which I thoroughly enjoy, so I highly recommend that. And since each episode is different, it was able to keep my attention a little longer. So just finding different ways like that to, like... Yeah. To be able to, even if you're not physically doing something, to mentally, like... Yeah. To have that, like, stimulation and thinking and stuff like that.
So what I wanted to say was, we, especially in America, live in a capitalist society, and even before all of this, we had a friend who told us, and I think that's something that was really stuck with us, is even when you have a day off, you feel like you need to do something, like you never allow yourself to relax, and I mean, that's kind of what capitalism is. Capitalism makes you feel like you always need to be doing something, you always need to be proving yourself, to being productive. Yeah. And I mean, that's a very hard lesson for me to learn as somebody who's very go, that I need to sometimes allow myself a break, but I'll sleep in too late, or
And it makes me feel guilty, you know? When
exactly.
When I wake, because typically, even though I do sleep in later than you, I'll wake up several points in the morning, and then I'll just decide to get back to sleep. But, like, when I wake up, typically I like to get up around, like, 10, 9:30-ish, 10. But if I wake up at 11, I feel so immensely guilty.
Right? And you feel
even
like
if I had nothing planned.
Your time.
Yeah, even if I had nothing planned for that day, like, absolutely nothing. If I wake up at 11, I feel, I just start the day feeling guilty.
And nothing like hitting 3 o'clock and you haven't done anything. That makes you feel like...
Something about 3 o'clock. It's just such, like, a... Like,
I have a vendetta against her.
Fuck 3 o'clock.
Fuck 3 o'clock. If you haven't done something by then, or if you've done something, well, because
normally
3 o'clock is such a deciding
normally
hour.
3 o'clock is when either what you're doing for the morning has ended, or what you're doing for the night has begun. So, like, that's kind of like a pivotal time of, like, okay, like, well, I already fucked up in my morning, so, like, now I have to do something by the end of the day. But it's such a hard thing to have to unlearn. Yeah. And, like, you have to train yourself to like to not react
feel that
like
guilt. Yeah. Like, I know exactly what you're feeling. Like, I haven't experienced that really with quarantine, because I feel like I work.
Also, you work more in the mornings. I work more in the evenings.
Yeah. So there's that. Yeah. And then even when I'm off at our job, I'm at my other job, which is now opened. So I honestly feel like I probably have like 2 out of the 5. Yeah, like 2 out of 7 days a week off. Yeah. So I've been very go, and then I'll take those days to be like, oh, okay, let me sleep in, or, you know, like, what have I been wanting to get at? And these past 3 weeks, all I can think about is school.
Well, and I think that also might have to be, because, like I said, today was, like, the first real morning that I, like, experienced these things really intensely. And I think it's because
we're done with school.
And, like, today was, like, the first day that, you know, we both turned in, like, our final assignments over the weekend. And so today was the first day that, like, truly, and now my summer course is starting in a couple of days, so that's, I know. And so that's starting in a couple of days, and that's something that, you know, I, in a way, like, will kind of, like, give me something to do again, which I can't really complain about. But I think that's why today just kind of, like, really hit me. And like I said, I wasn't, like, overly sad about it. It was just well, fuck, like, what am I gonna do? Like, one of those, like, type of things.
Yeah. I feel like if anybody's feeling that way, don't feel guilty. You know, like, realize, and sometimes when you say, oh, well, this is because of capitalism, you feel like you're being very far-fetched, but I think you need to realize...
I also feel like you're just assigning blame to something. Like, you're trying to, like... deflect the blame and not onto yourself, which that's exactly the case. It truly is.
It really is.
It's ingrained in us from such a young age.
Yes, exactly. You're conditioned to feel
and
this way.
It's not something that you can just suddenly, like, undo over like night. It's really hard to not feel that way, and it's just it's a really shitty feeling of, like, just, you know, let's say, like, you do have a day where you do just want to, like, lay in bed and do nothing or watch, like, YouTube just or Netflix, relax. Whatever. It just, it feels like, and people call it cheat days. I think that's the big thing. Even the name, like, a cheat day. Like,
or, like, to treat yourself.
Yeah, where it's, like, it feels like you're supposed to be, like, cheating the system, or, like, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it's very fucked up. Like,
but you're not. Like, you're really...
Yeah.
And it's dumb because most of the time when I do take care of myself is when I start to get sick. I start to get... And I have it right now, is actually I start to get a sore throat.
Yeah.
And that's how I know I pushed myself too far. I haven't taken care of myself. And so that's my body putting myself in check.
Yeah. And see, for me, it's... Again, a lot of time, like, it's physical things. My back fucks up. I mean, I don't know what it is. And my back just gets fucked up, specifically in my neck.
Yeah.
And that's what happened the other day. Like...
Yeah.
Just, like, you have physical symptoms of stress and, like, a feeling like you always have to do something.
Exactly.
And that's really fucked up.
Yeah. So, I think people who are experiencing this already and before us, or even now through quarantine, like, don't feel bad. And our friends gave us really great tips.
Yeah, and like I said, this morning I kind of sent out a little, like, hey, what do I do?
This is how I'm feeling.
One of my favorite things that one of our friends, she said was to kind of, you know, it's okay to assign yourself goals for the day, but to not really assign any specific time frame to do it, rather than just do it when you feel like doing it, which is kind of like a crazy concept to me. I was like, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
But she was saying how, like, you know, if you want to, like, either go for a walk or do a workout or do this new hobby that you've been doing, whatever, do it when you feel like it. Like, because then it's not going to be enjoyable if you make yourself do it.
She's like, you're not going to want to.
Yeah.
Unless you do, you know?
Yeah.
And my therapist was kind of saying a similar thing, how, like, I'm somebody who I'll shut down if I feel like I haven't met a certain timeline that I've set for myself. And she was just kind of saying, like, and that's kind of how I was really feeling during finals when I was trying to, like, get everything done. And she was just saying how, like, well, one, if you're trying to schedule yourself, think of the max amount of time. Like, you might think, oh, this might only take an hour, but think, okay, it's going to actually take 2 hours, you know? So then you're not stressed out that you're not meeting these specific timelines that you met.
Also, you have to kind of think also, well, how long is it going to take me to set up this time? How long is it going to take me to get ready?
Or, like, get in that headspace, you know? So, like, leave yourself time, but also, like, okay, so you didn't get it today. You didn't get to it today. Yeah. So, like, it doesn't mean you can't pick up back on it tomorrow or, like, you know, you can't get back to it, you know, because, like, I was doing this, like, 30-day challenge, and I totally fell off of it, and even before I really fell off, like, now, I would fall off, like, a day or two, and she's like, there's no problem with that. It's not like you can't pick back up. Yeah. You know, and if you start to, like, get yourself out of that headspace of, like, it's all or nothing...
And that's what it really comes down to, that
it's all or nothing.
Yeah, that is all or nothing. And it's not like that. Well, and, like, and even today, like, when I was cleaning my room, I would, and again, not to be like, I have ADHD, but, like, also, these are just my problems. I didn't really realize that I had until today. But as as someone who just gets distracted easily, when you're cleaning your room or doing a specific task, you have to keep going or you can't sit down because you will inevitably get distracted.
I'll take a nap.
Yeah, I'll take a nap or let me look at this cool thing that I just found in my room. And so I always had the mindset of, if I do something, I have to do it in its entirety before I either look at my phone or before I sit down and look at this other thing. Like, I have to completely finish it. And so, today when I was cleaning my room, I was taking, like, little breaks, and, like, either if, the podcast I was listening to was saying something really interesting and I wanted to focus, I would sit down for a second and just listen to that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of struck me. I was like, I have all day to finish this thing. This is really I had 2 things on my agenda today. I wanted to clean my room and bake bread. I did both, actually.
She did, yeah.
And it smells so fucking good.
And oh my god, and yesterday she cleaned the bathroom. It looks amazing.
That was yesterday.
It looks so good.
and so I had, very minimal tasks, and, some people, you may have more things that you want to do, or less things, whatever, it doesn't matter. But very minimal things, and I'm like, I have all day to complete these 2 tasks. It's okay if I give myself a little slack and I sit down for a second, or if I look at this one thing that I want to look at, or if I just do this thing, like it's okay. There's no pressure of, like, having to do all or nothing.
Exactly.
And it actually made it a little bit more enjoyable, just to be able to do it at my own pace, which is a new thing that I hadn't really done. So I guess that's a piece of advice. Maybe don't be afraid to take breaks.
Yeah.
To do things however long it takes you to do.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it. Trying to enjoy life. I guess that's where we're all trying to get back at. And it's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah. And I see on Twitter, it's all those people who are like, you need to make money to get money.
Oh,
like, those
my God.
weird hustle people. And it's like, what?
It's not all about money, first of all. Like,
yeah, and, like, it's what can you do and what are you capable of and what can you get to? Like, now that we're done with school and I have a month off, because she is a Maymester.
Yeah, I have a Maymester, but then I also have summer courses.
Yeah. But mine don't start till summer, so I have a month off, and so I made myself a list, like, okay, what would I like to get to? And so I know now, like this week coming up, like, if I don't get to everything, I'm not going to be upset, because I haven't had a break, and I deserve a break, and I need a break, and I need a rest, and I feel this itch in the back of my throat that I need to take care of.
Yeah.
So, like, tomorrow is my first day off, and I'm going to sleep in. I'm really looking forward to it, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
But I have a list of things, and as a busybody, like, I don't always get to the creative stuff, so I'm looking forward to doing that, but I'm not trying to put, like, I don't want to set deadlines and timelines for myself, because then I know I'll get stressed out and feel pressure.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's so stressful the way the world is right now, so I think it's okay if you don't feel creative, Like, I think for those creative people, Like,
yeah, and then also I think, and this is something that's not specific to quarantine, but just at least in America in general, just because that's from our experience, that it's not commonly accepted to experiment in things. So, like, specifically in hobbies, like, you're expected to either be good immediately, or you might as well just give up. And so now I think is really a time to, like, you can experiment and stuff. It doesn't have to be, like, you don't have to
try things out.
Yeah, try things out. That's what, like, I'm really getting into baking right now. And, like, I'm really enjoying it.
She's so good at it.
And so it's, like, I'm really enjoying it. But if you're someone who, like, you've always wanted to try and get into baking, and you try it, and you realize it's just not for you, like, you're not patient enough, because it does take a lot of patience.
Oh, my gosh.
And you're not patient enough, that's completely okay. You know what? You tried it out, and now move on to the next thing. Or don't. Whatever you want. Like...
Or at least, like, use this time as your time for practice.
You know? Like, or, like, if you have something that you've been into in the past and you haven't, gotten back into it in a couple years or months or whatever.
Yeah.
You've got time to now. And there's no pressure to have any specific deadline of, I have to reach this specific goal at this specific date, or else it's all for nothing. Nope, you've got plenty of time. Do whatever you want at whatever pace you feel like.
And the key word is want. Mm-hmm. Do what you want.
Yeah, not what you feel like you need to do.
Exactly. Like, evaluate what is a want and what you think is a need.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, fuck, even this podcast we're doing right now, this YouTube channel.
We've been wanting to do it for a long time, but we just haven't had time to do it.
And so now we're taking advantage of this and using it as this time so that whenever things turn out to whatever normal will become, you know, like, now we will establish a system, but at least, like, we have a flow to it and we know what we're doing and we're
really getting into, like,
and figuring it
out.
Things. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of one of the, I don't want to say benefits or, like, whatever, but, like, this time is, we've never really experienced anything like this before.
Yes.
And so it's an all new situation for everybody, and it just gives us time, which is weird. And then it's a weird concept.
Farce time is.
Oh my god! Even just not knowing what day it is. Yes. I've been getting really bad with that, and I was really bad at it at first, and it was kind of upsetting me, and it was kind of getting to me of being like, shit, I don't know what day it is. Like, I'm fucking losing it. Like, and that was the headspace I was in. And now it's like, now I'm trying to keep track of my days a little better, but it's less of the pressure of, I don't know what day it is. It's just time. Like, I know that yesterday was then, and today is now, and tomorrow is then. Like,
and we were even just talking about 3 o'clock. Like, time adds this weird pressure. Like, again, that's something else that you shouldn't allow to get to you. And I think no matter what, you should just keep in mind, like, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Think of all the people who got a late start on things, you know? And I say quotations around late because, like, you always have time. It's no matter what, it's no matter when.
And then I think it's also to be said how some people like strict routines. Some people like that's how they structure their lives, and that's how they benefit, and that's what makes them happy. So for those types of people, go ahead, have an extremely structured routine where you know, wash your face every day at 8:15. You do, and that's completely up to you.
And it might be what you need.
Yeah, and if that's what you need, then completely go for it. But if you're someone who's like, well, you know, I'll get up when I get up, and then whenever I do, I'll wash my face, and then after that, then I'll get dressed, or maybe not, and a little more up in the air. It's okay.
I think if you struggle with anxiety and depression, that kind of, like, when you want is a hard mentality to, like, get behind, because at least for me, like, when I feel unmotivated to get out of bed, I feel like I'm going to experience all of that again. I'm worried and I'm concerned, and I want to try and prevent it. Or it feels like maybe it's fueled by that, and it's just it's weird, and it's weird to try and navigate that.
I think also sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was just gonna say, I think also in terms of taking things day by day, with how I was feeling of, you know, well, why do this today when I can just do it tomorrow? And that's just it. Take it day by day. What do you want to do today? Is it something that you want?
Feeling?
Yeah, is it something that you want to do today, or would you rather? Do you think, I don't know, the energy will be better tomorrow? Whatever. Like, take it day by day, like minute by minute. Yeah. And like that's just something to learn. Like, how you're feeling now is not necessarily going to be how you're feeling then.
And the one, I guess, benefit is you don't have those normal pressures of getting out of bed and feeling like you're letting people down, or you're letting yourself down.
I think now is really a time to when you can explore yourself. Like, you can explore yourself.
You could.
I mean, you could. But no, like, you can really just, and I know for some people, you know, you're like, bitch, I've been doing that, but some people you haven't, and
or you realize what your coping mechanisms were.
Yeah,
you know, I know my friends. I mean, I've been new that, like, my friends and socializing and hanging out with people was a way for me to just avoid things, to put things off, to basically work and go until I have to absolutely stop. You know.
Yeah, that's it, really. So I guess in conclusion, take it day by day. Do things that you want when you want to.
Yes.
And try not to put too much pressure on yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So I think that's it.
Okay, cool.
This was a nice little therapy session.
Yes,
for both
welcome
of us.
to therapy.
Welcome to Therapy 101.
I feel like when I haven't seen my therapist, like, the week off where I'm not seeing her because I see her bi-weekly, that's when I'm like, so this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah. No, this was really nice. Like, I think
this is good.
I think this felt really good
for sure.
For
and I hope a lot of you feel
I think we all felt really good about it. Yeah. Just bringing it back.
Anyways, follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
Which will be right here.
Linked below.
Right? And linked below. It'll be like
all right here. And if you're listening
below.
to on Spotify,
yes.
My Instagram is stevie.kicks with 2 S's. And on Twitter, my username is steviekick.
And I am on Instagram as Colt.Francis and Twitter ColtFrancis. So yeah, awesome. So yeah,
thank you
to everybody who's watched.
Who's still watching. Wow, thank you. 4 episodes in, really going at it.
We're so excited. It's
and,
so awesome.
I know, this is a lot of fun. And we'll catch you next week for another Wasted Wednesdays.
See you then. Bye.
Bye.